What's good, YouTube? Today on Smokeaholicstv, Southern Smoked Oxtails. First we're gonna smoke them, then braise them, then we're gonna thicken that braising liquid to make a thick southern gravy. After that, we're gonna make some creamy garlic, Parmesan, and cheddar grits for a seat for those southern tails. You ready? Let go. Alright guys, before we get started, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell to keep up with our latest content. But now that we got that out the way, let's get going. Alright, everything has already been prepped, washed, rinsed, and ready for what we're about to do to it. I know you might see some ingredients here that I did not mention, but that's because those things will be mentioned on a later video. Today we focused on the tails and the grits. We got oxtails here, and what I want to do is drizzle them with some olive oil before we season them up. Don't worry folks, all of the recipe and ingredients will be down in the description box. You will have the full recipe. What we want to do is coat these tails with this olive oil so the seasoning will stick to it. And get them all good and coated, all good and coated. All the nooks and crannies and the full surface. Now, if I wasn't gonna smoke these, if I was gonna do this inside, I would saute them in a hot pan, probably like a cast iron skillet. Well, it ain't no probably, like, that's exactly what I would do, a cast iron skillet. You may not have a cast iron skillet at home. Any skillet will do. If you're not gonna smoke these, you wanna put some color on them, you wanna caramelize them and lock in that moisture and those flavors before you get going. But today we're doing it on the smoker. Alright, now we're gonna season them up. I've got plenty seasoning here, as you can see, because I like flavor. We got some garlic powder. We're gonna come back with some onion powder. And like I said, don't fret, I will have the recipe in the description. We got a little cayenne for a little kick. I like a little heat, I don't know about you. We're gonna come with some paprika for some color. This is smoked paprika. You can use regular paprika, you can use Spanish paprika. I just like the smoked stuff. As you can see, this is Smokeaholicstv, and we like it smoky. Want to get that paprika all over everything because you're looking for that good color. We're gonna come with some Cajun seasoning. Don't be afraid of seasoning, people. A lot of time I see people season stuff and they got a little salt and pepper. What they're supposed to do? Don't be afraid of seasoning. We got some garlic salt. We got some Greek seasoning. I like this stuff right here. Bring a little herbaceousness. I know that probably ain't how you pronounce that. Herbaceousness to the situation. Alright, and then we got just a pinch of lemon pepper. I just like a little citrus kick. And then some black pepper. This is a little cafe ground black pepper, a little more coarse than the table stuff. I always like to use a little coarser ground pepper when it comes to seasoning. Get my fingers in here, that just ain't working. I always like to use a little coarser ground black pepper when it comes to seasoning dishes. This is beef. Beef holds up very well to pepper, and in Texas we like a little black pepper on our beef, so don't be afraid to get black pepper in the mix. Alright, make sure everything is good and coated. Nobody feels neglected. And as you can see, I have a glove on one hand and no glove on the other hand. You'll see me do that pretty much in all my videos, especially when I'm handling raw meat. That gives me a clean hand, and that gives me a workable hand. That way when I'm touching spices, when I'm touching anything, even though this is beef and not poultry, I'm not cross-contaminating, I'm not spreading germs to anything that doesn't need to be spreaded to. Alright, that looks beautiful. We're gonna go out to the smoker, get these on, meet you outside. Alright people, here we are outside at the smoker. This particular smoker is one of my favorites. It is made by AJ's Custom Cookers out of Saginaw, Texas, who also built our smokers at the restaurant. If you need a backyard smoker or a smoker for a commercial restaurant or whatnot, reach out to AJ at AJ's Custom Cookers. But here we are, we got 300 degrees, and we're gonna run these tails. We're gonna cook them on this top rack because we want them to go ahead and get the colors that we're looking for. We're gonna kind of do them a little hot and fast. I'm gonna probably bring the pit up to about 350 degrees because what we're looking for is smoke, but also quick color so we can get them inside and get them braising. And we will put that braising liquid together shortly. Don't you worry, I'm gonna show you every step. Want to space these out so that they have enough room for the smoke to get between them. Heat can get between everybody and everybody's happy. We're going to smoke these for approximately 1 hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And then we're going to get them into our braising liquid to finish. Got them on. I'm gonna ramp the fire up to 350 degrees. I'll meet you back out here in about an hour. All right, peeps. We are getting ready to start the braising liquid. The oxtails, man, they look beautiful. I'm gonna take y'all out there in a minute. We're gonna get them, bring them in, and put them in this braising liquid. But first, we got to have the liquid. So I have a preheated cast iron Dutch oven here. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil to the situation. I have some large diced red and green bell pepper, and I have some large diced onion. We're gonna go in with those. Hold what you got. Flame up just a little bit. Now I am one who believes in seasoning a dish, man, from the ground up. So what I'm gonna do to these onions is I'm gonna hit them with some sea salt, about a tablespoon, and some black pepper, about a teaspoon. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna cook these down until they are translucent. If you don't know what translucent means, that means till the onion goes from white to opaque to where you can almost kind of see through it. See, right now they're good and white. You want them to cook until they're translucent. As I say, opaque, where you can almost see through the onion. Alright people, we are outside at the smoker. We're going to get the oxtails off, get them inside so we can get ready to get them into our braising liquid. They have been going now for about, what, an hour and 20 minutes? And man, watch this. That's what you're looking for. I know the lighting sucks right here, but we are about to go right back inside, so it really don't matter. I just want you to see them coming off. Man, if y'all can smell this. We going to go back to some more favorable lighting conditions. Meet you at the braising liquid. Alright, so we are back, and as you can see, the onions are translucent, like we were talking about a few minutes ago. If you saw how white they were in the beginning, now you see how you can almost see through the onion? That's what we mean by translucent. We're now going to add our garlic because we didn't want the garlic to burn. You will never put garlic in the beginning or it will burn. I'm going to saute that for just a second. Let that garlic wake up. And now we are going to go with our beef stock. Beef stock in there, and then y'all know what's next. Seasoning. We never gonna skip the seasoning. On this channel you gonna get your seasoning on. We got our onion powder. We got our garlic powder. We got our garlic salt. As you can tell, I love garlic. And if you fool with me, you will too. We have our Cajun seasoning. We have our black pepper. And if you just tuned in, the recipe will be in the description. So you don't have to worry about the ratios as I go. And we have some sea salt. Alright. My Lord, if you could smell what I smell. Alright. Now we're going to go in with our smoked oxtails. Any larger nice size cuts of meat, you always want to get some color on them. Like I was telling you earlier, if you're not going to smoke them the way I did, make sure you put them in your cast iron or on your grill pan or something and add some color to lock in that moisture, to lock in that flavor. As they cook, they'll settle down in there, and the ones on the top will get coated. Alright, we got about another hour for this dish. When we come back, we're going to put those grits together so we'll have a vessel to serve these tails on. See you in a few. Alright people, we are back. Took a little longer than I expected. It's been about 2 hours now. The oxtails have been braising. I'll show y'all those in a minute. First things first though, we're going to knock out these grits. We're going to run about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And we're going to come in with a good tablespoon of garlic. Fresh chopped garlic, not the pre-minced stuff. Okay, while we waiting on the garlic to heat up and start getting the sizzle on, we're gonna make a slurry so we can thicken the oxtails. And all you want is cornstarch and water. We're gonna use approximately 2.5 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and we've got about a half a cup of water. And we're just gonna whisk that together. Alright, we got our cornstarch and our water whisked together. I'm gonna take this top off and show y'all what we've been doing. Look at that. Oh, good cloud have mercy. Let me see what we got going on here. Some oxtails have been smoked. They've been braised, the flavors have been built, and now they've already pretty much made gravy. We just gonna thicken it just a little bit. We're gonna come in with this slurry that we just made, and as you can see, instantly we have gravy. We're just gonna mix our oxtails around in that good gravy. good and coated. Look at that. Look at that. Do you see what I see? Lord have mercy. And just like that, people, our oxtails are done. We're gonna drop the heat on them. Off. I'm gonna put my top back on them and just let them sit there and rest and come together. And we gonna focus on these grits. Alright. We don't wanna burn our garlic. So we got our grits going. Our garlic going. We're gonna come with some chicken stock. We got a little chicken stock. We got our chicken stock going. We're going to come with some heavy cream because we want rich, creamy grits. I think this is probably a step that a lot of people forget. They use water. I rarely use water for anything. Flavor, flavor, flavor. Chicken stock adds flavor. Water tastes like what? Water. You start with no flavor, you end with no flavor. What we gonna do here? Let's crank up the heat. And we're gonna season this. We got our black pepper. We got our garlic powder and our onion powder. We have our garlic salt. These are pretty much my go-to seasonings, man. For anything soul food, these are my go-to flavors. So you'll get used to these seasonings because these is what we'll be using most of the time. Cajun seasoning and a little bit of sea salt. And while we're waiting on that to come up, I'm gonna grab some butter. I should have had this out. I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon of butter. We'll let that come to a boil and then we'll be back. Alright people, we are back. One thing you're gonna get used to is fooling with me is I drink when I cook. Today, margaritas. I'll share the recipe with y'all one day. Alright, so we are boiling. Our liquid is come to a boil. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna slowly add grits. Today I'm using quick grits. You can use whatever you prefer. I don't have all day. And these turn out just as good and smooth and they don't take all day, so I prefer to roll with the quick grits. Now one thing about grits is you need to constantly whisk and you can feel them tighten. That's kind of how I roll. I'll put a little bit, whisk a little bit, and then I'll back off. You'll start to feel them tighten, and then that's how you know when you get into the consistency that you're looking for. If you add too much, you're gonna have to come back with more liquid, and a little bit goes a long way. So I can see right now that I'm already starting to firm up, and pretty much I'm gonna reach the consistency that I'm looking for. So what I'm gonna do is turn my heat down and continue to stir. I'm just gonna keep whisking. See what we got here. I'm gonna add another little bit of chicken stock because they're gonna get too thick on me. I can see that now. So you add a little bit and you back off a little bit. That's a pretty good consistency, but they are nowhere near done. So we'll let them slow roll for a second. Add a little stock. Let them slow roll for a second. Just watch them. Whisking. Add just a little stock one more time. That should be our final addition of stock. I'm gonna give them a little taste to see where we at. Those are good. Those are good. They need a few more minutes. And I know I'm gonna add cheese, and that's gonna thicken it, so I'm gonna go ahead and add stock one more time. It, guys, for we're gonna let them slow roll for a second. That's another thing, when I drink I tend to sweat. So we're gonna let these slow roll for a second, and then we're gonna come back, we're gonna add some cheese. Be right back. Alright, we are back. Our grits are done. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add our cheeses. We're gonna come with about 1/4 of a cup of Parmesan, and I'll say 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan and 1/3 of a cup of cheddar. And we're just gonna whisk that right into our grits, people. Ooh, wait. I'm gonna add just a hair of chicken stock because that's just a little thick for me. And that's perfect. That's the perfect consistency right there for me. Alright, we're gonna move everything over and we're gonna plate this up, and I promise you, you don't want to miss this. Alright people, we are back. We have reached our final destination, and it's time for my favorite part, plating and eating. So we've got our grits, our good garlic Parmesan cheddar grits that we put together. We got our oxtails, man, that's been going all day long. Y'all started these with me earlier today, and look now. Oh my word. We're gonna put that right there. I'm a chef, people, so I'm sorry, but my plating has to be on point. So I'm gonna wipe that plate. Oh man, if y'all can smell it in here. Top with a little, just a little of that Parmesan. We gonna hit that with some chopped flat leaf parsley, and there you have it, people. Live on Smokeaholicstv, smoked and braised oxtail, garlic cheddar, and Parmesan cheese grits. Let's taste it. Y'all gotta go. I got stuff to do. Appreciate y'all riding with me today. Once again, smoked, oh my god, oxtails, garlic and cheddar, cheese grits, live on Smokeaholicstv. Appreciate y'all. Peace.